Alright, so now we're going to take a look at creating this table in AutoCAD. Last time we created our table style, so now we can take a look at trying to recreate this bill of materials table using an actual table object in AutoCAD. So let me go ahead and erase the table that I have here. And so we're working from our annotative templates, so if you don't have a template open yet, you can come up here and click on New. Come in here, click on AutoCAD Anno, and hit Open. Now open up your AutoCAD Anno template, and then you'll just have to click on Layout 1 to go to Paper Space, and we're going to create this table in Paper Space. So once you get into Paper Space, we want to click on Annotation and make sure that your table style, that your current table style is set to be BOM. Once it is, you can just go ahead and click on Table, and it opens up this dialog box and asks you what table style you want to start from. And we want to start from BOM. Our insertion options, we're going to start from an empty table. Insertion behavior, after we specify all of our parameters in here, then the way that we're going to insert this is we're just going to click a point out here in the graphics area. So we want specify insertion point. Number of columns and rows settings. In my bill of materials, I've got four columns. I've got a column for item, column for quantity, column for number, and a column for description. So column should be set to 4. My column width, I've got to edit my column width after I insert it anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and set that to be 1. My number of rows, this I have to manipulate afterwards anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as at 2, and what it's going to do is it's going to create a title row, it'll create a header row, and then it will create 2 additional data rows. And for those heights, we can leave it to be just 1 line there. So our first row style, we want our first row style to be title, second row to be header, and then all others, for the most part, they're all going to be data centered. So we can go ahead and change that to be data centered, and we can go ahead and hit OK. And then it asks us for our insertion point. So I'm just going to click a point kind of up just in the graphics area somewhere, then click a point outside of that table. And so it goes ahead, it creates my table, but now I have some editing to do. So that's the big thing with tables in AutoCAD, is how to go about editing them. Okay, so first thing is I can just click in a cell and then I can start typing in that cell. Okay, so before we start filling in information, these first 2 rows, it was the title row and the header row, we don't need them. And so I'm just going to click on row 1 and then right click and just do delete row. And now then the row that's selected now would be my header row. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit escape, and again, to get that selected, I'm just going to click in a cell anywhere, and then I just click on 1, and then I right click and do delete row. And now I've just got 2 data rows left, which is what I wanted. So in cell A1, I'm just going to type item, and then B1 I'm going to put quantity, C1 put number, and then D1 put description. And I'm just hitting tab to go from one cell to the next. And then in cell A2, put a 1, quantity 1, number 9999-99, and then my description, it's going to be plate. We're just going to say 2 inches thick, it's carbon steel by 4 inches by 6 inches. And now we've got all of our cells filled in, and now we need to finish formatting our table and adjusting our row width and our column width. Okay, so first we're going to adjust our column width. And so to do that, go ahead and hit escape a couple times, make sure that nothing's selected. And now what you're going to do is come over to the right side of your table and click right directly on one of the lines that represents your table. And so don't click in a cell, instead click right directly on one of those lines, and then we're going to click this square grip, and we're just going to drag that cell just straight to the right, just whatever distance it takes, so that every cell is just a single line of text. And now we can go about adjusting the width of each one of these. Okay, so let me get arranged here. And so for our A1, our A column, we want it to be actually 5/8 of an inch. We can't go to a 1/2 an inch because it's just too cramped. The software won't let us, but we can go to 0.625. So I'm going to click on that grip, use my object snaps. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to reference this point on the left. I'm going to move straight away from that. And I want that to be 0.625 from there. Okay, so to resize this, I'm going to click in this grip. I'm going to zoom in here so I can reference this point on the left. And then I'm going to type in 0.625 because I want the width of that column to be 0.625 from that point that I was referencing. Now for my quantity column, do the same thing. Click on the little square grip. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to reference this point over here on the left again. And I want it to be a 1/2 an inch away from there, so type in 0.5. Same thing for column C. I'm going to click on the grip on the left. I'm going to zoom in here, reference this intersection on the left of that column, and this time I want it to be 1 unit from there, so do a 1. And then finally for D, I'm going to do the same thing, and this one is going to be 3 inches wide. So again, zoom in, hover over that left side of this column, move away, type in 3 and hit enter, and that should have updated the width of all of these columns. Okay. Alright, so now that we've got that, now we can start working on the cell height or row height. So for that, we're actually going to have to go into properties. So if you come up here, click on properties, brings up your properties box, and now just click in one of your cells and that'll select your table. Click on the row number, so we're clicking on row 2, and in here just change your cell height to be 0.25 and hit enter. And then do the same thing for row 1. Just go ahead and click in 1, click in cell height, type 0.25, hit enter. And then everything is looking pretty good at that point. I just need to fix a couple of my cells. We want all of our cells, we'll just go ahead and set them all to be our data centered, and then set the one that needs to be data left justified, we'll change it back. So right now just go ahead and hit escape a couple times, click in one of these cells, and then once you've clicked in there, click go ahead and hold down shift and click in another cell so that they're all selected. When you get all those cells selected like what's shown there, you can just come up here where it says by row or column, select data centered out of that, then hit escape, and then just click in the cell that says plate and change it from data centered to data left justified. And then if you go ahead and hit escape, you can close out your properties. And then that's a pretty close representation of the table that we have for our bill of materials. We can go ahead and I'm going to erase the one that I drew in there. And then you can just move your table like you can move any object in AutoCAD. Just use your move command, select it, select a base point to move from, and then select a point that you want to move to. And now you've got your bill of materials table in there, rather than the bill of materials auto lisp that we use now. Now I don't want you to use the tables in AutoCAD for bill of materials. Continue using that program that I showed you by typing in BOM1. Continue using that to create your bill of materials. I just wanted to use this as an example of what you can use tables for. What you're going to use a table for is to recreate problem 1048 from your blue book. It's on page 441. Should be able to use this same table style that we just created, this BOM table style. should be able to use that to recreate that table that you see there on page 441. And good luck with that. Just let me know as you have problems. I still kind of stumble around with tables from time to time, so let me know when you have trouble, and that's it for now.